It's NFL Week 18 and the last week of the regular season and our last chance to win up over $1 million. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jason Mattis with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode, and it feels good. Feels real good to be sitting back in this chair with you guys, talking some NFL action. Obviously, we had a couple weeks off there leading up to the holidays. I got a little bit too busy doing holiday preparation, and then the holidays hit, family in town, what have you. Just busy times throughout the holiday season. But I'm glad, again, to be back in this chair talking NFL action, and we've got a lot of money that we can go ahead and win this weekend on NFL Week 18. We can win $1 million up over on that NBC Sports Predictor app. We can win $100,000 over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app, and we can win $2,000 over on the Yahoo Fantasy Slate app. All the questions revolve around the NFL with just a touch of college football sprinkled in there at the end on that Yahoo Fantasy Slate app. Let's go ahead, though, and start with that Fox Bet Super 6 app. Let's go ahead and do that one first. That's the one where you compete for $100,000. They give you 6 questions. You gotta give them winners and win margins for all 6 of those questions. You gotta get them right to win that $100,000. And last week, you probably got the same in-app notification that I did. Nicole from Chicago won. How cool is that? Everybody knows I live up in Chicago. I don't know if Nicole watches this show, but either way, congratulations to her and somebody up in Chicago winning that $100,000. Let's see if we can't get one of our winners, one of our great supporters, that $100,000 this week. So let's jump on into it. It's going to be a tough week. I mean, look at these 6 games. They've got games that don't have any playoff implications. Some of them do. The ones that don't are obviously going to be extremely, extremely tricky. Week 18 or 17 in the past NFL years, it's just always been tricky. It's always been tricky when there's nothing really to play for, although you still have players playing for incentives that can, add money up into their pocket. So let's just jump on into it, talk some football, and have some fun. Let's go ahead and kick it off right now with the Bears and the Vikings. We know for the Vikings, they're going to go ahead and get Kirk Cousins back, so that's obviously going to improve their situation. I think most people saw that game last week up against the Packers, and the Vikings they look terrible. I mean, that quarterback was well off his game, and thankfully we do go ahead and get Kirk Cousins back. For the Bears, Justin Fields hit the COVID list this week, so we're going to go ahead and get Andy Dalton as the starting quarterback. I just look at these two teams, and say, okay, who's the better, right? Nobody's playing for anything in this game. The Vikings have been the better team. The Bears have just had an atrocious offense. They've just been rotating quarterbacks through all season long. Head coach is on the hot seat. Boy, he's probably going to go ahead and get fired, I would think, within a couple hours of this game. Although, to be fair to Vikings, they're probably going to go ahead and fire Mike Zimmer, I would think, relatively quick after this game as well. So, 2 lame duck coaches in my mind, 2 teams that obviously aren't good. They're not going to be in the playoff hunt, but I do think the Vikings are better. If they're at home, I think that'll give them this edge. They've got the better quarterback. Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Andy Dalton. He's got the better team around him, got the better offense. Go ahead and give me that Vikings win. I think the Vikings will win this game by 5 to 6 points. Let's stay in the NFC North, and let's look at the Packers versus the Lions here for this next matchup. Their Lions have gone ahead and said that Jared Goff is likely to go ahead and play in this game. We know what the Packers are going to do. They say they're going to more than likely treat this game like the 3rd preseason game. Obviously, the Packers have already wrapped up the number 1 seed and got a bye, but they need to play their players, right? You can't take 2 weeks off of NFL action, but they're going to be treating it like the 3rd preseason game. So we know that means they'll play into the 3rd quarter, more than likely, maybe even into the 4th quarter. So, but what makes this dangerous is the Packers may be getting out to a lead. Everybody, obviously, the Packers are the better team. Let's not debate that. But the risk here is the Lions cutting into that lead in the 4th quarter. Maybe if you are going up against some second stringers right there. But I'm going to go ahead and give those Packers second stringers some credit. Look, this is an all-around sound team. Through COVID-related issues, through injury-related issues, they've had to use their depth throughout the season. And look, they locked up that number 1 seed, the best team in the NFC. So give those second stringers, some credit. They're not going to have the whole. Of course, there's a drop-off, but I think they'll be able to compete with the Lions well enough to not give up a big lead. I think the Packers starters will be able to get out to. I know the first game was really competitive there in that first half, and then we saw the Packers really dominate that second half and get out to a win. Look for the Packers starters to dominate from the start. Look for them to build a big lead, and look for the second stringers to hold on to it relatively, per se. I think the Packers will win this game by 10 to 14 points. So double-digit win for me. Packers by 10 to 14. Next game on the slate here is the Washington football team going up against the New York Giants. For the New York Giants, they're going to go ahead and start Jake Fromm. Don't know too much about him. Obviously, he was drafted by the Bills, never got a chance to really play. and then hasn't really done anything, obviously, there with the Giants. For Washington, I think they've obviously got the better team. Not only do they have the better team, but the Giants got a lot of issues going on. You see, the head coach there, Judge, is coming out and trying to defend what's going on there. That they're just a hot mess and what have you. Likely because they are a hot mess. They're a team that hasn't led up to any expectations. I don't think people thought too highly of them coming the season, but surely better than what they've done. Saquon Barkley has kind of turned it on here lately, but he's been generally a disappointment throughout much of this season. I just look at these two football teams like, who is the better team? And to me, Washington is the better team. And with Jake Fromm coming out leading these Giants, I think they're going to be absolutely a mess and they're going to be struggling. So give me that Washington football team. I also like a double-digit win. Give me the Washington winning this game by 10 to 14 points. The only AFC game that we get on this app is going to be between the Bengals and Browns, and they're up next. How about Brandon Allen versus Case Keenum? Yeah, that's going to be the quarterback matchup in this game. Nothing sexy about that one right there. The Bengals will also be without Joe Mixon. He more than likely hit the COVID list. There's a chance he could come off of it. Zach Taylor said in enough time to play this game, but as of doing this recording, he hasn't come off that COVID list, so we have to assume that he's going to be out. The Bengals are fighting in terms of just trying to keep that momentum, trying to keep that good feeling. Obviously wrapped up the AFC North title last week. They're a good football team. I thought they were going to be good coming this season. That's why one of my NFL future picks that I gave out before the start of the season was the Ravens to miss the playoffs, because I was expecting good things from this Bengals team, and they have exactly done that. So they're going to want to stay sharp. The Browns, an absolute mess. I mean, just look what they did last week up against the Steelers. They couldn't do anything up against Steelers. I know the Browns are probably second guessing their decision to pick up that Baker Mayfield fifth year option. They're obviously now stuck with that. That's their problem. That's not my problem. What's going to be their problem on Sunday is dealing with this Bengals team, a good Bengals team. Again, a Bengals team that's going to want to play, up until the final whistle, stay sharp, get ready for the playoffs. Give me a Bengals victory by 3 to 4 points. It's going to be close. I mean, you got Brandon Allen versus Case Keenum. It's not going to be a runaway victory by any stretch, regardless of how bad the Browns are. So this one will be close. Give me those Bengals, though, by 3 to 4 points. All right, back over to the NFC now. We're going to go ahead and look at the Saints versus the Falcons. Huge game for the Saints. I mean, absolutely huge game. We know for the Falcons, they're obviously done. They're not getting in the playoffs. But for the Saints, you win this game, combine that with the 49ers loss, and you have now snuck into the playoffs through that back door. That is going to be all the motivation this team needs is. I think these two teams coming into it would maybe have been relatively even. The Falcons at home, you probably could have given them that advantage. But that motivation of knowing that they can win with the 49ers loss, and keep in mind the 49ers play the Rams. So they're likely to lose that game. And I think the Saints will probably obviously know that and use that as fuel and motivation through this game. So, yeah, the Saints do have a much better defense. Obviously, they've got a really good top 5 rush defense. Taysom Hill will be able to do good. Calvin Kamara will obviously be able to do good. I like the Saints in this game. It'll be close just because it's a division game, and division games are generally speaking always close. And you got Matt Ryan on the other side of the sideline. He's a good quarterback, obviously. So Saints will win this game, though. Too much on the line that they're fighting for. That'll get them over the line. So go ahead and give me a Saints victory by 3 to 4 points. All right, and the last game here on this app is going to be between those 49ers and those Rams. I kind of alluded to maybe up there previously talking about that Saints game that I think that the 49ers are going to lose this game. You're going to maybe get, or who are you going to get here for the 49ers quarterback? That's a big unknown. Are you going to get Trey Lance? Are you going to get Jimmy Garoppolo? Garoppolo's working his way back. From the injury. He was limited in practice so far this week. That's a big unknown. People said Lance looked good last week. I didn't think he looked all that great up against the Texans. I think they're gonna hope that Garoppolo is the quarterback going this game, because Garoppolo, in my mind, gives them a chance to win this game. I don't think Trey Lance gives them much of a chance to win this game. Stafford over there for the Rams just needs to stop throwing interceptions. Just stop throwing picks. And I think the Rams will, obviously have a pretty good, I think, playoff run. If Stafford can just quit messing up, that I think is what is large in part holding back this team right there. So, but a lot's on the line here. Rams are fighting for still to get in the division. We obviously know what that means. That means you get a home playoff game. And for the 49ers, win this game, get on into the playoffs. So, yeah, a lot on there. This one's going to be good. But I don't think on that Rams defense. Good defense overall by the 49ers. I don't want to sit here and knock them, but that Rams defense is better. I mean, look at the pieces that they've acquired midseason. Overall, there's a better unit. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. All right, give me that Rams team. I think the Rams will win this game by touchdown. So give me the Rams victory by 7 to 9 points. And that's how we'll do it on the Fox Bet Super 6 app, where you can win $100 on NFL Week 18. All right, enough of the $100,000. Let's move it to the big old jackpot, the $1 million jackpot. It's over on the NBC Sports Predictor app. This one's between the Chargers and Raiders on Sunday Night Football. All you gotta do is correctly answer all 7 questions to take home that $1 million. If not, you'll compete for a guaranteed $5,000 prize. Whoever gets the most points right. As you guys know, each and every single week this season, I've been giving away $25. This is the last week I'm doing it because obviously it's the last week of the NFL. Let's take a look and see who won last week. How about a 4-way tie with 30 points? So what does that mean? Whenever we have a tie of 3 or more people, we roll that $25. So just like NBC is giving away a lot of money, $1 million, this is also going to be a big week here for me. I'm going to go ahead and give away $50 as we roll that $25 over. And hey, look at those standings. I even got 30 points. I'm on the top of that leaderboard. I cracked it. How about that? I've been struggling, generally speaking. We cashed on this app last season. I obviously never hit a jackpot, but we did well enough to actually cash. Been struggling this season. It feels good to have my name right there up on the top with 4 other people. So good showing by everybody. Unfortunately, we are going to roll that $25 over in this week. So again, this week is worth $50. Again, it's Chargers, Raiders. This is going to be a fantastic matchup. Win this game, you're in the playoffs. People are talking about they can tie and both get in. You know how hard it is to get a tie? Like, there's not going to be a tie. Like, that is extremely difficult to get a game to end in a tie. So somebody's going to win this game. I can't wait to see what happens. We look back, or we remember back what happened in week 4. Chargers won the game 28-14, so doubled up the Raiders, but I didn't think it was like a double up performance. You know, it was all the way back in week 4, so that is a long time ago. These teams have obviously evolved throughout the course of the season, but that is what happened in week 4. That game was at Los Angeles. This one here will be in Las Vegas. All right, it's time to go ahead and answer these 7 questions, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. Question 1 is Justin Herbert's passing yards and passing touchdowns. Well, he averages 308 yards on the season and 2.1 touchdowns to go ahead and along with that. The Raiders, they allow 215 yards per game. Why is that so low? Well, we'll talk about that rush defense a little bit later, but I think that's why they're a good pass defense, is because of that poor run defense, and they're only allowing 1.6 passing touchdowns on the season as well. If we look at that week 4 matchup against the Raiders, Herbert had 222 passing yards and he had 3 touchdowns. For this game, I'm going to get him at 220 to 249 yards, and he'll have 2 touchdowns. Question 2 is about Derek Carr. Same thing, passing yards and completions, though, this time. He averages 296 yards on the season and 25.5 completions per game. The Chargers allow 224 yards per game. Again, that sounds low. That is also low because they've got a really poor run defense as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. They allow 22 completions per game. In week 4, he had 196 yards and 21 completions. He's got to have a bigger game. If the Raiders want to win this game, he needs to have a better game, certainly than week 4, but he just needs to have a good game overall. I think he will have a good game. Go ahead and give me 250 to 289 yards and 25 to 26 completions. All right, let's talk some running backs now, and Austin Ekeler's up first. We got to give you his total yards and receptions. He averages 57 rush yards and 41 receiving yards on the season, and he averages 4.3 catches per game. He's 3rd on the team in targets. The Raiders, let's talk about that rush defense and how bad it is. How about it's the 27th rush defense in the league in terms of defending that running back position, whether that's yards, fantasy points, touchdowns, all of it combined. They rank 27th in the NFL. They allow 96 rushing yards per game, 38 receiving yards per game, and they allow 6 catches to that running back position overall per game. What did he do earlier on this season against the Raiders? Well, only 145 yards on 3 receptions. He's going to have himself another big game. This is a really poor rush defense. I'm going to go ahead and lock him in at 130 plus total yards, and he'll have 4 receptions. Sticking with the running back position, but this time let's go ahead and look at the Raiders back, and let's look at Josh Jacobs' total yards and receptions. He averages 51 rush yards per game and 24 receiving yards per game and 3.7 catches per game. He's 4th on the team in targets. If we talk about that Chargers rush defense, talk about how that Raiders rush defense wasn't any good. This one is even worse. They rank 29th in the NFL in defending that running back position. They allow 116 rushing yards per game and 28 receiving yards per game to the running back position on 4 catches. And in week 4 against the Chargers, he had 57 total yards and he had 5 completions. I'm going to put him in at 55 to 69 yards and 3 receptions. I think this game is going to be more on the arm of Derek Carr to get it done. Even though this is a poor defense, they weren't able to take advantage of it in week 4. I don't think they're going to be able to take much advantage of it. Look for Derek Carr to have a better game than Josh Jacobs. So 55-69 and 3 receptions for me. All right, to the pass catchers now. Let's go ahead and start with the Chargers. Keenan Allen, receptions and receiving yards. He averages 72 yards on 6.6 catches per game. He's first on the team in targets by a wide margin, by 37 more targets than the guy in second place. And in week 4 against the Raiders, he only had 39 yards on 7 catches. Look, this is a big-time player. They're going to need a big-time performance from him in a big-time game. Give me 8 to 9 receptions and 80 to 99 yards. The Raiders' best receiver is Hunter Renfrow, and he's up next here. We got to do his receptions and total yards. He averages 64 yards on 6.1 catches per game. He's first on the team in targets as well by 39 targets. Big margin right there. Week 4 against the Chargers, he had 60 yards on 3 catches. I think he's going to have a big game. 7 receptions and 79 yards. If they're going to have any chance of beating this Chargers team, he needs to have a big game to go along with Derek Carr. They're both going to have relatively big games, so I've got him at 7 receptions on 70 to 79 yards. Question 7 is the last one, and it's the toughest. You got to give them a winner and a win margin. What a game this will be. Again, anybody wins this game, they're going to go ahead and be in the playoffs. Yeah, this one's going to be tough, folks. Raiders at home, that's going to help them, having that home crowd. You saw what the Raiders did last week. You know, they get good performances. They've been doing good, you know, getting shock results throughout the season. I mean, in week 1, you know, beating the Ravens, I think that surprised most people. The Raiders, that's kind of what they've been doing this season is getting wins. I think when people have least expected them to get the wins, I think most people are going to go ahead and side with the Chargers in this game. Chargers are favored by -3 points, but I'm not leaning that way. I'm leaning on the Raiders. Something late in this game. I've got it Raiders win by 1-2. Yeah, just something will happen. They'll get a late touchdown. They'll get a late field goal. Yeah, Raiders are going to pull this one out at home. So on Sunday Night Football, go ahead and give me the Raiders winning this game by 1-2 points. And that's how we'll do it on the NBC Sports Predictor app for a chance to win $1 million. All right, rounding things out here is the $2,000 contest up on the Yahoo Fantasy Slate app. Most of these questions are NFL, and then we do get the college football national championship game here at the end. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. Question 1 is Chargers Raiders. I'll stay the same. No reason to, you know, waste all my time on doing the research and flipping this one and doing Chargers. Hey, I like the Raiders in this spot, so go ahead and give me the Raiders. How about the next one, 49ers Rams? I think the Rams will go ahead and win that game. Will Cooper Kupp have 136 plus yards? Yes, he will. I think they will get him that record. Record. It's an extra game. It shouldn't be a record, but it'll be counted as a record, but certainly shouldn't in my mind because of the extra game, but so be it. He's going to get it. He'll get 136 yards. All right, question 4 is who's going to win the AFC East? Don't ask a Bills fan this question. Like, really? Bills are going to go ahead and win that AFC East. They're going to go ahead and knock off the Jets on Sunday. Will Mark Andrews have 141 plus yards? No. You're not going to come anywhere close to that. That Ravens offense can't get that done, so no, he will not do that. Will Jonathan Taylor have 2+ touchdowns? Yeah, I think they do that. Going up against the Jaguars, they got to win that game to get in the playoffs. They're going to win that game, and I think they're going to win that game riding his back. He's been probably the best offensive player in the entire league all season. He's going to get to 20 touchdowns. He's going to have 2 in this game. So, yeah, go ahead and give me Jonathan Taylor. How many quarterbacks will finish with 5,000 yards? I found this to be an interesting question. Currently, if we look at quarterbacks within 350 yards, there's only one, and there's Tom Brady. Close behind that is Stafford. He has 4,648. Herbert is the next in line with 4,631. I think there's only going to be one. I think Brady's the only one that's going to do it. I think that's a lot to ask from Stafford to get, 350 plus yards. Herbert, 350 plus yards. Don't see either one of those guys doing it. So Brady will be the only one this season getting 5,000 yards. And of course, it's only going to be one to go. Is that really surprise anybody that only one guy is going to do this and by the way, it's going to be the GOAT? Nah, it shouldn't surprise anybody out there. All right, let's go ahead and talk some college football, a sport that I know nothing about, admittedly. I'm going to go ahead and take Alabama, though. Just looking this up before I got in here to do this video, it's hard to ignore Nick Saban's, success against his former coaches, his success up against Georgia. So I'll go ahead and take the underdog there in Alabama. Over under 52.5 points in that game. I'll go ahead and take the under. These two teams defensively, you guys probably know this better than I do. Maybe a lot of you probably watch college football. Two damn good defenses, really good defenses. I know they hooked up earlier on this season in the SEC championship game, but in the Natty, I'll go ahead and take the under. So give me under 52.5 points. So there it is, NFL Week 18. Again, $100,000 on a Fox Bet Super 6 app, $1 million over on the NBC NBC Sports Predictor app and $2,000 over on the Yahoo Fantasy Slate app. And again, this is your last chance to take my $25, or I guess it's now $50 actually on the NBC Sports Predictor app, as obviously the NFL is coming to a close. It feels good to be back in here with you guys talking some sports. We're going to continue, obviously, videos coming out for these free fantasy contest games. We still got the Premier League going on. We're going to get back into NBA like we did last season. And NASCAR is coming up right around the corner. I think it starts in about mid-February. So, yeah, NASCAR is not too far away. So make sure you guys keep on coming back for all this great content. I enjoy sitting here with you guys, talking sports, and giving ourselves a chance to win some money. All right, enjoy NFL Week 18. Good luck to your team, unless they're the New York Jets. And we'll see you back here on the next video, guys. Have a good one. That was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and good luck with your picks. If interested in placing real sports bets, then check out my latest daily free sports betting video in the bottom right corner. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next contest.